Okay, hello, my name is Matthew. I think we're on part four of answering questions for my my channel reaching 5,000 subscribers. I've now been talking for over an hour. I think I just took a quick break to get a drink, but let me see where we are. Um, okay, Amir RYM. Hello, congratulations for your achievement. I have some questions. First, how do you read books? I mean, I like to know if you have any method for reading. For example, some people read a book numerous times to have a profound realization from the context, particularly high literary fictions. My next question is, what do you read books in your first language or not? My aspiration for this question is my vicissitudes with Beowulf. English is my second language, yet I do not know how to read such texts in a second language. I want to know your opinion about it. Um, I don't know. Do I have any method for reading? I, um, I don't really have a method for reading. I do know that when a long time ago, when I made the decision to sit down and focus, and pay attention, and have a dedicated amount of time and space, my reading became more enjoyable and more consistent. Um, I love rereading. I reread things all the time. Sometimes reading short stories and novels again. Sometimes it's poetry, sitting down and wanting to spend time with a certain poem. Um, uh, I don't know if I have. I don't have profound realizations. I don't think. Um, but I don't know. That's a tough. It's tough to. I don't know if I'm understanding the question, um, but that does seem like a tough thing to answer. I'd be interested to know what your first language is. I don't think that you said. Um, and Beowulf is a translation. So Beowulf was Old English. I think about. I think the only translation I read was the uh, Seamus Heaney translation, which is great. Um, the edition that I have is facing pages. You can see the Old English on one side and the translation on the right page. And it's not like looking at Chaucer. It looks it's just a totally different language. It's unrecognizable. So I don't know if you're trying to read. It'd be pretty impressive if you're reading Beowulf in the original Middle Old English. I would maybe recommend either the Seamus Heaney translation or trying a different translation because for whatever you're reading, maybe if you tried a different translation, you could find a different angle or avenue to find the work more approachable. Because Beowulf is, I mean, I found it to be extremely entertaining. Um, so hopefully that answers your question. Uh, Frank Morlock. Congratulations, Matthew. I think you have a very nice, informative channel that is always open to new ideas and books, and we need that. Um, I said, do you have any questions? I need that, okay. Um, do you go back to older posts and review them to see if there are new comments? You did some interesting stuff several years ago that I would like to comment on, but wonder if it's worth it. Um, so I I don't watch my videos after I upload them, and I don't go back to older videos. But there's an application called YouTube Studio. It's an app that I have on my phone, and it gives me notifications. So when a person leaves a comment, I get a notification that there's a comment, and it's not time sensitive. So typically, when I'll post a video, I could start getting like an influx of comments because there's a new video out. But all day, I mean, not all day, but pretty much every day, there's some comment left on an older video. I read everything. I read all the comments. I don't think I'm not great about replying. I know I should work on that. It just seems like my replies always kind of feel like they're maybe a little dull or dim-witted. A lot of the time I just say thank you. If there's like a specific question that I can answer, I do try my best to always answer things like that. And it depends. Like some of the older videos, someone might say, well, I really liked that story. And I'll leave a little like button or, that indication. But if there's like an older video and you left a comment, I would read it, and if I can, I would reply. Congrats. So now we'll move on to David Hall. Hello, David. Congrats. Any favorite opening or closing lines or passages? Stately plump Buck Mulligan came down the stairway. Mother died today, or maybe it was yesterday. I'm not quite sure. I'm just kidding around, I guess. So I do have favorite passages. I might have a hard time just recollecting passages that are like in the meat of a book. There are some. As far as and there are great closing lines that I would have a hard time recollecting. As far as a favorite opening line, it's probably "Call Me Ishmael." And the thing that I love about that, "Call Me Ishmael," it's opening opening sentence, and I love that it's a command. This is a book right at the very beginning. It lets you know the book is going to be calling the shots. If you're gonna be reading this, you're gonna start by calling me Ishmael. And then it's such a strained. We're talking about Moby Dick, in Melville. That's the great beginning about being restless and having to go to the sea, and there's that passage of feeling like you want to start flipping people's hats off, and then they go to that bar, there's this sermon scene and the inn, and all this stuff leading up to going out into the ocean, and then the book just whirlwinds around, and it's one of my favorite novels. I think I made a video talking about Moby Dick, but Call Me Ishmael. I love that it's a command. It's telling you what to do. There's the beginning of Jacques the Fatalist by Diderot, which I just read recently. At the beginning, you also have this authorial voice, and the author and this like fictional version of the reader are talking back and forth, and it's like this reader is saying, "Well, what's the story about?" And then the book responds and says, "Well, what's it to you?" And there's like this argumentative tension that begins like straight away. This is going to be a very strange. Nowadays we would say like postmodern, but at the time it was just very experimental experimental book. But Call Me Ishmael. Um, Isaiah Armstrong. Hello, Isaiah. When and how did you get into poetry? What do you like best about reading poetry? How often do you read poetry? Um, I, I used to be able. I mean, just recently, I would say that I read poetry every day, um, and it would be a part of my morning routine. I've been reading the Old Testament, which does have passages and poetry, um, but um, I've been reading maybe less poetry than I um, have for a while. So um, um, whenever I get off my Old Testament kick, I'm sure I'll go back to reading poetry. It's a really nice way of starting the day. And some poems you can just, before the day starts, I'll have a cup of coffee on the windowsill and just read a few lines, read a poem, a short poem. I love it. And again, I got into poetry because of my friend Bob. He could recite whole poems, a multitude. Just if it just seemed like um, these verses were at his fingertips, and he spoke them, read them, or recited them naturally and passionately, and with an ease that made it seem as if when you hear it, you're hearing the sounds. And if you can, the best way to read a lot of poetry is by reading it out loud so you can hear it. And so my approach to reading, my introduction to reading poetry was hearing somebody that loved Yeats and Walt Whitman and Shakespeare and all the romantics, so Coleridge and Wordsworth and Shelley and Blake and Keats. Hearing somebody just be able to recite them, and then when I did start reading them, instead of having a feeling of being intimidated or just seeing black words on a page, I already had an appreciation of the potential musicality and at least from being informed by Bob's way of reading the poems, I also had a natural sense of what the rhythm would be. And I mean, those are things that I like about poetry: reading them out loud and hearing the rhythm and the beauty of the sounds, and of course, like the ideas that are being expressed, and the way that you can spend a morning. I just love it. Graham Hudson. Congratulations, Matthew. Your channel is one of my favorites on BookTube. Why, thank you. Is there a question? No, I don't think any question. And then the last question, here we are. This is from Ivan Claudio Morovic Jara. Have you ever thought about becoming a writer? Congratulations on 5K. Hugs from Chile. Why, thank you. No, I've never thought about being a writer. I'm not. I don't have that discipline. Not that I don't have that discipline in life or creative endeavors, but specifically, I didn't have. I don't have the drive, the passion, the discipline that I did have when I was painting. When I painted every day because I didn't know what else to do with myself. That was my creative outlet, and I took it seriously. I don't really paint very much anymore, but I do know that those feelings, that the feelings of urgency and wanting to improve myself, and expand my vocabulary, my visual vocabulary. So understanding color better, and technique, and spending time looking at other artists and seeing what they were doing and how that can inform my own, that attitude that I had with painting, I never really had with writing. I would write occasionally, but I don't know. That's my answer. And so we're done. I've if you've been watching all of these, at the end of this, thank you. Of course, thank you for subscribing. It's gratifying and humbling, also very encouraging, that there's someone or a lot of people that choose to spend their time listening to me talk and express myself. It just means a lot. And thank you. I really, truly appreciate it. This is a really special thing. So thank you. If you have any comments about any of these videos, please leave comments below. But thank you and take care.